New video time! Guys, I am Yard Offside FM, and it is very nice to see you again. This is episode 2 of The Triumph, my Football Manager 2017 Let's Play series as Hell's Teeth FC in the Tuvalu A Division. Thank you guys for coming back. Thanks for checking out some more of this really fun save with Hell's Teeth in Tuvalu. I'm going to be starting the first season of this hopefully very long and illustrious campaign with Hell's Teeth. In this episode today, guys, we are going to be taking on, where is the schedule? There it is. We're going to be taking on Niutao, as I mentioned at the end of episode 1. So we've gone through some preseason games with some degree of success. I'll go over those a little bit later, but first of all, there have been a number of very large changes to the squad, guys, and I do want to go over those first. As I mentioned in the last episode, guys, the squad was a bit of a bag of shit, and so I did need to make some changes, and changes I have made. Coming into the squad, by the way, guys, because Tuvalu, as I mentioned, all amateur league. The Tuvalu A Division, all the teams in it are amateurs, meaning there are no transfer fees, at least none that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, guys. There were certainly no fees paid in this most recent transfer window between any of the teams. So the first of our big signings that we've made is Tofikai Pearson, guys. He is a central midfielder, is typically used as an attacking midfielder. We will be using him in this more withdrawn role here as either as a central midfielder or as a ball-winning midfielder. I've been tinkering with the tactic. I haven't quite made up my mind about that. If he's going to be in this role, he needs to improve his tackling. That's something that we're working on in training, and I'll get to that a little bit more later, guys. But Pearson, really, really great player, has a lot of great player for this level. As you can see, he's only 2 of his physicals are above 10, which is not great. But for this level, to see flair of 11, leadership of 17, work rate of 13, a huge one. Pretty good things to see, guys. And he is going to be our new club captain. Also coming into the squad, a reserve striker, and I'll get to some of the other strikers that we've signed in a bit. This new reserve striker that we've signed, Tailolo Moeaga. He's bit pants at everything except for, as you can see, free kick taking and corners. And these skills could come in very handy as we have had club philosophy talks with our board, and I'll get to those a little bit later, guys. But Tailolo Moeaga could come in very handy in that department. By the way, Pearson coming from Luamotu, which is one of the created teams, one of the 4 teams that I created, including Hell's Teeth. Luamotu are another created team. We brought him from Luamotu on a free. Moeaga coming in from our opponents on the day, Niutao. So as for a little bit higher profile players, we have Taumafai Tui coming in from Tufaga, a very, very prestigious team in our division. Tui, a real player, as you can see there. It doesn't have a photograph in the game, but he is a real-life player. And he's quite a good player. Can play in a couple of different positions up front. He's primarily a striker. We will be using him in a slightly more withdrawn role because I actually really like him as a shadow striker. Certainly some things left to be lacking, but his physicals are quite good, and that can be something that's really critical for the shadow striker position. So Tui, I'm hoping for big things from him. Also coming in the striker department, we have Samaya Moeaga, another real-life player, arguably even better than Tui, but perhaps less versatile. He's good as a poacher and a target man, but other than that, his skill set is a little more narrowly limited. Although, good to see these plenty of these physicals at 10 and 11. Moeaga, I'm hoping for big things from him. He's not had a great start to our preseason friendlies, but I'll get to that in a bit. Finally, to round things out in the attack, we do have James Lapayo coming in, another player who can play in a couple of different positions up front. A bit more lacking in the physicals department, but he has, as you can see, he had a 9 rating for our third preseason friendly. Played very, very well, and I like to think that he's in good form right now, and my hopes are high. So I skipped over this. Samaya Moeaga coming in from Tamanuku. Traditionally a pretty good team in Tuvalu, although if I remember correctly, they've been rated transfer-wise, and their media prediction has dropped down to 12th, which is last in the Tuvalu A Division. So Tamanuku maybe not in for such a great first season in this series. Tofaga, on the other hand, media prediction first. Very, very good team, high reputation, plenty of good players in their squad. Finally, rounding out the transfers, we do have Joshua Valawaga coming in from Nui, who are media prediction to be their prediction is third. Joshua Valawaga is a goalkeeper. We were hoping to get a slightly better goalkeeper than Joshua Valawaga because, as you can see, he's okay. Again, okay for this division, but I was really hoping to bring in someone a bit better. I was actually looking at Luamotu for their goalkeeper Kolone Ofate, who's a Ofati rather, who is quite a good player, and I think as you can see, we don't have full scouting knowledge of him, but it was my feeling that Ofati was going to be a better player in our system. Unfortunately, he went and decided to he decided to sign for Luamotu. As you can see, previously he played at Tofaga, so that was another Tofaga player that we were looking at. I only want to show you one more thing in our transfer history, guys, and that is we briefly looked at Taufia Avia at the end of the last episode. Avia was considered to be a 5-star center back, but I had a look at him, had a look at his attributes, and thought he's absolutely horrendous. And so when Pioneer Vaiaku, this is, by the way, another one of the 4 created teams, when Pioneer Vaiaku came in for Taufia Avia, I was happy to let him go because I think he was a very, very bad player, frankly. It did leave us a little bit shorthanded at the back, though. That's something that we'll go over later in terms of the balance of our squad and the tactics that we'll be using. I have also done a complete revamping of our staff here, guys, and we can have a bit of a look at it, just go through things. Our assistant coach, Uota Timuani, has come in. He's 31 years old, is not an outstanding guy, but he is currently in the process of, I don't think it's going to say on this screen here, is it? Will it show under information? He is currently studying for a National C license. This was something that our board did accept. They're going to pay for him to study for a C license, so that's good. We have a number of other people coming in. Taufia Pataya as our head of youth development. We have a coach, Taumafai Samaya. None of these guys are really that good, but you will have to take it on faith from me, guys. Vaiaho Takatea, who is, I believe, our chief physio, our head physio. Yes, that's correct. You'll have to take it from me that these guys are dramatically better than the people who I was given at the start of the game, who were genned into Hell's Teeth. They were absolute trash, and I am more than happy to be bringing these guys in. Now, I did notice that the sort of generated staff members who are available in the free agency market weren't very good, and I suspect that was just the players who were available at the start of the game, that the pool is a little bit small. So I think midway through the season we are going to have another look at staff, guys, and see if there are things that we can improve. And of course, over the course of the series, hopefully as the club gains a higher professional status, moves away from amateur into the semi-professional, and then, fingers crossed, professional status, that we'll be able to bring in people from abroad. And of course that's true of players as well, and that should help us improve the quality of our coaching and indeed of our players at the team. So I did mention training a bit earlier, guys. I do want to just show you a quick look at this. I do have some individual training regimes set up to try and retrain some different people. For example, Alatele Tiute, who's he's not very good at the moment, but he apparently is showing some promise. He's primarily a fullback, but I'm going to try and train him as a wide midfielder. He'll be playing today, and you can see a little bit of him. And there are other examples of that, guys. For example, I mentioned that Pearson is primarily an attacking midfielder. We have him training as a central midfielder. I'm sure there's a few other examples of players that I'm training in different positions, but at any rate, I'm sure there are, and I can tell you that there are because of all the players who are currently unhappy. Most of these guys, here it actually shows, Tiute, as we mentioned, learning a new position. Pataya, Alafi Pataya, is another player. We can have a look at him. He is also learning a new position, primarily a right back. We need him to be a central defender because of Avia's departure. As we mentioned earlier, we do have a bit of a hole. I mean, look, we only really have 3 defenders in our team. I probably should have brought some more in, but the transfer day was a bit hectic and just never really occurred to me. And I really sort of wanted us to play in more of a kind of attacking tactic anyway, so it just wasn't a priority. But we do have a bit of a shortage, and so we do need Pitaya to learn that center back role. But as I mentioned, guys, a lot of these people unhappy because they've been asked to learn new positions. Antonio Etti, I think, is just being a grumpy pants. I don't believe I asked him to do anything different. Lipua is our starting deep lying playmaker. He's unhappy. I might have to have a look at that, but I won't do that in this episode, guys. At any rate, we have had some issues in training with people being unhappy. Initially, I had been running the individual training. I had set everything up completely myself, and the players were getting so unhappy. I figured, well, maybe it's me that's been doing something wrong. So I put my assistant in charge of the individual training. It hasn't gotten any better. My assistant's also noticed we need to retrain some people, and he's also sort of made some decisions. He's also, if I remember correctly, set up some new focus training, and that's made training even heavier. You can see a lot of these guys with a workload of very heavy, and I think that's contributing to the players being unhappy. And if we had a professional squad, as I move over to the club screen, if we had a professional or what's the other good one to have, determined squad personality, then maybe this wouldn't be such of an issue. However, we do have the ambitious team personality, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because we can use that to sort of motivate the players to kick on and do some good stuff and push for the team to be as good as it can be, push for the team to develop into a sort of regional and then hopefully Oceania-wide powerhouse, but it also does mean, as experienced FM players know, that the ambitious personality means they're very picky about their training. They don't like working too hard. They want to be successful, but they want it to be easy. They don't want to have to do the nitty-gritty, boring stuff in training. So, the ambitious team personality is something that I'm just going to have to grapple with. It's not the first time I've managed an ambitious team in FM, and I sort of, like I say, recognize that there are benefits and positives. So with that in mind, let's move on to tactics here, guys. Let's just have a look at the tactics screen. Fantastic. As I mentioned, I really wanted this to be more of an attacking save after the Galatasaray save when we were so solid defensively but had so many problems trying to put balls in the back of the net. So I've gone with a 3-4-2-1 in light of that, guys. Thought about having a formation in which we'd have more than one striker, but in the end I decided that these guys are probably better, these guys being Tui and Lapaya, these new incoming transfers. The fact that they can play in these withdrawn attacking midfielder roles, I think, is something that can be to our benefit, especially since Samaya Moeaga is quite a skilled target man, and this is going to be a very sort of direct kind of style that we're going to play. We'll just have a look at our team instructions here. I have it set up on counter. The team shape is structured. I really want people to know what their roles are. As for tempo, it's going to be a bit of a lower tempo one. I may bring this up if I find that we're a little bit too laborious on the ball. But I do want teams to sort of press into us, which is why I've set the defensive line as slightly deeper. We're very, very narrow, try to stay very, very compact and absorb pressure. Stay on feet, as you can see, another thing that's related to try and absorb that pressure, get teams to come at us so that when we do gain possession, we hit them on the break. We use the relatively good pace and physical attributes of our forwards to just get the ball forward, move it, hit them quickly, and try and catch them on the break. So it is a very counter-attacking formation, but it's an attacking one nonetheless. We do have a lot of options up here in the midfield, and we've had some success with it in our preseason friendly matches. As for who's going to be playing in this game today against Niutao, guys, as I mentioned, we do have Valuaga in the goal. He has a couple backup options, but they're both absolutely trash. No good whatsoever. Not excited about using either of them. So we have Valuaga in goal. Then we do have Filioma, who's the guy I mentioned. Actually, Filioma is one of our defensive midfielders. Did I want to play Filioma or did I want to use Pitaya? I think I'd rather use Pitaya. So let's just get him in there very quickly. Pitaya. There we are. And then we do have Ali Nessi Silao and Masolia Eti as our other center backs. They're not too good, but at least I've got them in roles that they're well suited to, and hopefully that will help out things a lot. Silao actually had some very good performances in our preseason matches. Look at that hair. He had a 7.2 in the first game. Bit of an off game in the game that we lost against Niutao, and again I'll go over the friendlies in a moment. 7.2, and then in the last one he was on a 7.7, so really played very, very well. Might be the class of our team. As far as his attributes go, he's not very good. His 7 of tackling is, it could be worse, I suppose, but it could be a lot better. It does help that he has pretty good jumping reach and very good natural fitness. So then in attack, we are going with, as I mentioned, Alapua Lipua as our deep line playmaker, Tofikai Pearson as the ball-winning midfielder. Again, may reset that to central midfielder if I feel that he's performing better in that capacity. And then on the wings, I have Etamoni Eti, who is a winger. Really, I think one of the reasons he's so ill-suited is he'd really rather be playing as a winger, and I'm using him as a... The thing is, with this formation, we don't have any fullbacks, and I'm very, very skittish about setting these guys to wingers because it means they will run down the wing, and that could result in us getting caught out on the break. We are already sort of vulnerable to breaks ourselves with this formation, and that's something I'm concerned about. So I do have these guys set to wide midfielder defend. On the other side, we do have Tiute. Actually, I'd rather we see his player card, please. There we are. With his brilliant, whatever hairstyle that is. I'm not sure. Maybe that's a bug. But Alatele Tiute normally is a fullback. I mentioned this guy a bit in the training portion of this episode. He's normally a fullback. I'm going to try and teach him. I do have him in training, trying to teach him how to be a left midfielder. He's very young. He can learn, but I'm not sure. He's a current ability right now of only there's 1 star, I believe, for the youth team, which is terrible. So he's going to need to make some huge improvements. And as I mentioned in attack, guys, I have James Lapayo and Taumafai Tui in the sort of withdrawn striker positions. Lapayo as an advanced playmaker and Tui as a shadow striker, and Samaya Moeaga as the poacher. I'm going to have to sort out my substitutes, guys, but I'll take a pause right before we start the game in order to sort of get that figured out. So I just want to move on very quickly here because we are running short on time. The Oceanic Champions League has begun. We are not in it this year, but I do want to just give it a bit of justice by going over what went down for the Tuvaluan clubs involved. We had Naughty in Group A. I believe they did manage to get a draw in their first game against Kosa. It was a 1-1 draw. Here, why don't we just bring up the matches and results screen? That's not going to sort by group, is it? Well, that's quite annoying then. We can do it like this, though. Bring up Group A. There we are. So they did get a draw against Kosa. And good on them for that. But after that, they were defeated by the eventual group winners, Punaru, who are of Tahiti. So Tahitian club Punaru beat them, and then they needed to get a result against Welgris Highlanders, I believe, of Papua New Guinea. Yep. And they did not get that result. It was a 2-2 result. So 2 draws, not terrible from Naughty, but they really should have done a lot better. Where are Kosa from? I'm curious. Looks like the Solomon Islands. Yep, Solomon Islands. So not the toughest group. Really, Naughty maybe will feel like that was a chance missed for them, but I suppose with 2 draws, nothing to be terribly upset about. Because all of the matches in the group stage of the Champions League happen at the same venue, which this year is Eden Park, as you can see up there, which is in Auckland, I believe. Well, it's somewhere in... Let's actually check. It's somewhere in New Zealand. Auckland, yes. Auckland, New Zealand. or was I? Tofaga, yes. Because everything all the games take place at the same venue in the group stage of the Oceania Champions League. The groups are staggered, so groups A and B took place over a couple weeks, and now groups C and D are in progress as we speak. Tofaga have played 2 of those games in the group stage. They've not been performing well. As you can see, they did get a draw against Tiga Sport, New Caledonia. New Caledonia. So, decent result there, with 2 goals coming from this fella here, Katepu Sieni, real life player. We don't have a lot of information about him scouting wise. I suspect that he's pretty good. Tovaga are a strong side by Tuvaluan standards. But then, as you can see, Team Wellington, who I think are an affiliate club of Wellington Phoenix in the Australian A-League. I don't think it says here. I think in this updated database, in Clausen's updated database, Team Wellington have perhaps lost that affiliate status so that they can compete in the O-League. If I remember correctly, Team Wellington don't actually ever go to the O-League because of that affiliate status. But at any rate, they're eligible in this database. They hammered Loto Hapai 5-0, and then Loto Hapai proceeded to go and defeat Tofaga, which tells you that that's how far Tuvaluan football needs to come. As we can see here, Loto Hapai from Cook Islands, Tonga. So quite a ways behind. A lot of room for improvement in the O-League, but that's where things stand. Hopefully, once Hell's Teeth are in there, we can start getting some better results. As far as other competitions go, guys, let's have a look at... Actually, let's go back to Group A, because I want to click on Niutao and show you guys that the NBT National Bank of Tuvalu Cup has occurred, and that is the Tuvalu. It's essentially the Tuvaluan Super Cup, or at least that's what I've made it in this database. And it was played between Lakena United, who I believe are the winners of the Christmas Cup last season. Do we have previous history records? Oh, it shows over there. They are the most recent winners of... Here, we'll go back over here. Most recent winners... Actually, they only just... I suppose that's because the game has sporadic results from Tuvalu. But at any rate, Lakena United, the most recent winners of the Christmas Cup, which is the main domestic competition. They did go on to the NBT Cup, and they defeated Niutao, perhaps a bit tired from their O-League exertions, 2 goals to 1 in that competition. I believe that game just took place last night at Tuvalu Sports Ground. So as for our results here, our results haven't been as prestigious as the exploits of Lakena United or Niutao or Tofaga, but we have played a few friendlies. We played Hameamimi, who are the 4th team that I created for this save. They represent the atoll of New Lakita, which is the southernmost island in Tuvalu. That was a 1-1 result that I was a little bit disappointed by. We trailed for a significant portion of the game, as we have a bit of a delay, but we did finally get an equalizer from Talavalu Katagali in the 72nd minute. I brought on most of my subs by then. I mostly just figured, well, we've dropped all 3 points in this game. We did manage to get an equalizer, still a bit disappointing on the balance of things, but I suppose good to rescue a point right at the end, if there were points assigned for friendlies, which, as we know, there aren't. Then we went to play Niutao about a week later. And I was really expecting, because Niutao are not a particularly strong side, that we would be able to either get a draw or a win, and Niutao were by far the better team. I did rotate the team a bit. We had some players in there who weren't particular. Actually, for this game, mostly looks like we had a full-strength side, which does not bode well for our match here. But we were comprehensively outplayed. Niutao hit us twice, really exposed the fact that we do have that 3-man back line, and really made me rethink things tactic-wise. And it seemed to work. Against Pioneer Vaiaku, we got Taufia Abia's new side. As you can see, he did not play, well, he played okay, I guess. This is at a 6.6, that's maybe average-ish. But we knocked 3 goals past Mr. Avia with Tamafai Tui, one of our... I think he's the guy who I was talking about playing a Shadow Striker role. Tui scored twice, and then James Lapayo put one away for himself. If I remember correctly, Lapio assisted both of these 2E goals. So really a great game from James Lapio, both in creating and scoring himself. And after that result, I figured, you know what? We're doing pretty well. Then finally we played Nui, and it was a scoreless draw. Not much to write home about. It's perhaps a bit concerning, but that 7.7 from Silao that I mentioned earlier, that is good to see, guys, because it represented a big turnaround from the defensive frailties that we saw against Niutao, and hopefully we'll carry that into the start of the year here. I do want to just show one more thing here, guys, and I apologize for the length of this video, but hopefully it's dense enough that you guys are not bored watching it. I want to just show you the club confidence screen, because we're doing pretty well. As far as club issues go, it's too early for the board to judge us on our club stature. Ditto for payroll budget, although I'm not sure what they're going to be judging me on. Everybody at the club's unpaid. It's an amateur club. But we did have a meeting with the board to set up some club philosophies. And as you can see, guys, they're delighted with our signings. They feel that the high-profile signings that we've made, most notably that striker trio of Lapio, Tui, and whatchamacallit, Samaya Moeaga, they feel that those were great high-profile signings, and they're saying 100% happiness. We are particularly impressed with the capture of Tofikai Pearson as well, and I am too. I think Pearson is a great little player. I do have to figure out how he's best used in our midfield, but there's certainly no doubt that he's deserving of that captain's armband. It's too early for them to judge us on our performances in any of the competitions, and as you can see here, guys, here are some reactions. I think these are the fan reactions to our preseason results. They're slightly concerned about that 2-0 loss to Niutao, but other than that, they seem to be pretty satisfied with how we are playing. Ditto for the transfers, as you can see. Fans thrilled that we've been landing players of this quality, and I was too. Aside from being turned down by that great goalkeeper that I wanted to bring in, Colone Afati, who went to Luamotu instead, we did get everybody who we wanted to bring in, and we do have a full squad of 22 people here, guys, which is good to see. As you can see, quite unbalanced. You know, these new players that we've brought in have really thrown off the star ratings for everybody else in the team because they are so much better. But it's better to have them there than to not have them there. That is for certain. So, guys, I'm actually going to create a bit of a pause in this video because I need to sort out my substitutes for this upcoming game against Niutao. But after that, we will return and then we'll get into the game, guys. Okay, guys, I am back here. We are about to start our game against Niutao here. As I mentioned in the previous episode, guys, there's only one ground in the entire country of Tuvalu, the Tuvalu Sports Ground, and so it's basically almost always, sometimes there's a doubleheader, but it's almost always just one game per day. And today, the league that the whole country will be watching is Hell's Teeth versus Niutao, and if I remember correctly, this is actually the first game for any team of the Tuvaluan A-League season. So that's pretty neat to see, guys. As usual, very poor pitch. It's 87 degrees and calm and sunny in Funafuti at the Tuvalu Sports Ground. It looks like we've got 426 tickets sold, which is pretty good. I think for the preseason matches, I think 100 was about the maximum. So that's good to see. Not sure how many of those are our home supporters, but always good to have people coming in the door, getting those gate receipts up a bit, guys. As I mentioned, I did need to sort out the substitutes, guys. Not really anything to mention. We have Celio Galani, who's one of those terrible goalkeepers that I mentioned. We had Filioma, who's another option as a ball-winning midfielder to cover for Pearson or Lipua, or I'm trying to retrain him as a center back to just be back up for Pataya, who's so unreliable himself as a center back. And we have a few wingers and some backup striker options. Everybody is pretty terrible with the exception of Tailola Moeaga, who is that set-piece specialist who we may decide to use, guys. So let's get into the game here. It's just that match sharpness thing. One of the problems of being an amateur team is you don't get to spend very much time in training, and so even if you do set the training focus to fitness and amp up the intensity of the training, which, as we mentioned before, angers the players a great deal, you're still not going to make a whole lot of progress in terms of match sharpness. So that's just going to be something it's just going to be part of the deal. So we are being predicted as the winners in a tight affair by the press here. It looks like we are the favorites with the bookies as well, but that preseason result against Niutao is going to weigh heavy on the players' minds, and hopefully we can shake that off here today, guys. So just looking at the starting 11 here, they are going to go with a very narrow formation themselves, which means we don't have to worry about them hitting us down the wings as much, but it could mean that they successfully neutralize a lot of our attacks here, guys. We may have to have a look at that if we're having trouble getting shots on target. All right, so we have instructions here. Always leave that for my assistants, as you guys know. Let's have a look at the team talk here, guys. So my assistant coach is saying we should go and encourage the team as an ambitious squad. That would seem to be a sensible approach. Let's do it. Let's passionately tell them, come on, guys, show what you can do. Or should I go with, I'm expecting you to win tonight? They are, like I said, ambitious. Let's do that. Seemed motivated, one player. We could probably, it'd be nice if we could have a little bit better than that, but what are you going to do? Let's tell these guys, I believe you've got what it takes, and let's get into the game here, guys. Let me just check that I have the sound turned off. I believe I do. No, I didn't. Good thing I checked. See, I can learn things, guys. By the way, with this new skin that I mentioned, guys, I noticed this in the preseason. We do have some slightly different looking little icons here. This is the one part of the skin that I'm actually not sure I'm a fan of. Oh, shoot, I thought Maoyaga was going to bring that down, but well, he did bring it down, but clearly no attack came from it. This is our highlight here, though, guys. But as I was saying, one of the things about this skin that is kind of meh is these funny little icons. Pearson takes a shot, left-footed shot, which is his stronger foot, but that one goes well wide. That will happen in Tuvalu. But these icons do tend to have these funny little oval things. You can see which direction they're going. It's growing on me, but I'm still nostalgic for the old-style little circles that running around it. But, you know, it is 2D, so I'm sure a lot of people watch this and go, why do you have it on 2D at all? Who cares? You know, whether they're ovals or circles, 2D is stupid, but I don't know. I like 2D. It's just, you can see more of the action of the game, and you can sort of tactically be more aware of what's going on. So Niutao bringing the ball forward, but Silao is going to cut that out. Hopefully his good form in the friendlies continues. Eti on the wing here. Oh, he's found Moeaga. This is exactly what we want this tactic to do. Oh, but Moeaga skies it. That's a shame. Probably would have preferred to see him bring that back, hold the ball up, find somebody else. Valawaga taking a shot. I know he is, because it's Tuvalu and everything's a little wacky. Some of your better set piece takers are defenders, or in some cases even the goalkeeper. I know I did have him set as an option for set piece taker. Pearson, well done to cut that out. He's such a fantastic player. I think he's going to be a long-term fixture of this save, guys. But yeah, so our goalkeeper, Valawaga, is set. Moeaga has been found again. Can he get a shot on target? Is it a pen? It is a penalty, guys, and we have an opportunity to go up in the 15th minute here. Moeaga, I believe, the primary penalty taker. Hey, let's have Valawaga take it, right? He took the free kick. Controversy here at the start of the A-Division season. Moeaga puts it away. We are 1-0 up. Fantastic stuff. So Moeaga, after being a bit meh in our preseason friendlies, wow, atrocious goalkeeping. That was not a great penalty, really should have been saved. But I'm not going to complain about that. Valawaga's off his line. Luckily, nobody's technically good enough to take a shot. Eti clears that away. Moeaga didn't have a brilliant preseason, but good to see him get on the score sheet here. We are a little bit under the Kosh here. That shot is not far away from Ale. I think that says Ale. But looks like we've got some instructions which I will implement. And they're telling me to put people in better positions, which is not going to happen. Pearson collects that. Was that a pass? Very poor. My screen's not loading up, which is a bit worrying. There we are. Oh, Lapaio's won that out on the wing. Lapaio, who's been quiet. Pearson, Moeaga scores again. Brilliant. It's a first half double from Samaya Moeaga, assisted by Tofikai Pearson. Not much to say except brilliant. Well done, guys. A relatively full stands here, which is good to see. It looks like the quote away unquote end is a little fuller than our main stand there, but Valawaga with another shot in possession again. He needs to get rid of it. Oh dear. Well, this is something we're going to have to sort out because we cannot have Valawaga being a free kick taker. Taking a deep free kick from time to time, I don't really think is going to be a big issue, but can't have him taking those ones up too far up the pitch when he's going to be well out of position. So I think we're playing okay, guys. I don't see any major reasons to make any substitutions. Really, the tactic is working to a treat. Pretty happy with how things are going, and as I mentioned, really all of our best players are on the pitch already. Not a very deep squad, but that's at least something that can be said of other teams in Tuvalu as well. What do we want to go with our team talk here? I'm obviously pretty pleased about how we're playing. Keep it going, guys. All right, sure. And everybody looks delighted or extremely delighted. Hopefully they don't switch off. But I think we did need to give them a pat on the back for a pretty good first half when everything's gone quite well. A lot of good individual performances out there. Lipua finds Valawaga, who's had more touches probably than some of the wingers have. Oh dear, it looks like they are going to bring this down. Valawaga maybe should have held it, but he does punch it away from goal. It's going to be a corner kick to Niutao. Tinilau whips it in. Lipua heads that away. Not cleared, though, as Tinilau will have another crack at this, and it's off the bar. You can see that coming from a mile away. Nobody covered that run. It's another free kick, blocked by the wall. Scrum at the top of the box, still held. Tinilau, Pearson chops him down. Will he go in the book? No. Looks like the referee has been lenient. Tinilau takes that. It was on target, but the wall does its job again. And we hold. Niutao may push out of their shell here, which could put us under pressure, but it also could mean that we will have more chances on the break. Oh, that's poor. Number 7, I think that's my right winger, Eti. I'll have to check the match ratings. I may need to bring off some people, or I should check fitness as well. Let's wait till the end of this highlight, though, as Moeaga holds up the play on the left, finds Tiute. Lapaio, Pearson in space, Tui. Oh, he took too long on the ball. Probably should have had a pop, and now there can be a counter for Niutao. Our defenders aren't getting back. That shot really was taken much too early by Alisana, and Valawaga watches it go over. Let's make some changes, guys. It's been a little less convincing in this second half, although we are still holding that 2-goal cushion. If I sort players by match rating, obviously Moeaga playing very, very well. Alinesi Silao, again, continuing his wonderful form in this central defender stopper role. He's playing very, very well. Perhaps his compatriots to either side not as well. Lapaio on a 6.5, which is not awful, but really was hoping for a bit more. I'm not sure I want to make too many dramatic changes. How are my wide midfielders playing? Etimoni Eti on a 6.6. Might be worth taking him off. Let's check how the condition is going. Lapaio getting a bit tired. I don't think we have another game for another 2 weeks, so I don't have to worry too much about playing players to exhaustion, but it might be worth looking at Lapaio coming off if he is only on a 6.5 and getting a bit tired. Let's see who we have available here. I think Lutelosio is able to play. Yep, he's able to play as an attacking midfielder. Here we are. He's pants at everything. Cio, if I remember correctly, did assist one of the goals in a preseason game. I'm going to bring him on anyway. We'll bring him on for Liutao and just hope that he can do something. Should we put Tui at playmaker or shadow striker? I think we'll leave him at shadow striker. All right, so let's just confirm that sub and get back into the game here, guys. Sio, I don't think is an incredible player, but given that Liutao has been a little off the pace, I think it's worth just trying somebody else. Highlight right away, Pearson should get booked here. That was totally off the ball. Looked like he just clipped the back of his opponent's legs, and he has received a yellow card. As a ball-winning midfielder, he's going to be getting his fair share of those. So there's our substitution. We do have a throw-in here. Moeaga, Tiute, who's not been terrible on the left. He hasn't made any huge glaring mistakes. Lipua, that's a bit of an errant ball out to Eti, but we do retain possession. Now Tui has a lot of space on the right. Can he whip a ball in? Sio has a shot saved by the goalkeeper. Will be a goal kick as Sio reached his own rebound, but it looks like he just tipped it over the end line. A little bit disappointing to see it end like that. Oh, we do have a highlight here. Let's watch this. Pearson whips the corner in. Will we retain possession? Yes, we will. Tui can send it back to Pearson, who can send a ball in early. Moeaga! Hat trick for Samaya Moeaga. Well done. We are 3-0 up. And Samaya Moeaga, the talismanic target man striker, with a brilliant hat trick in this game. Pearson, 2 assists. We are classing this match, and Niutao are hopeless. Love that kit, by the way, guys. Valawaga will take another free kick and then have to run back onto his line. That is absolutely something we'll have to sort out in terms of these set pieces. Lipua cuts a ball out. Tui has Samaya in front of him. Can he find it? No, but Pearson retains possession. Sio loses possession instantly. Eti heads it over to Lipua. Lipua with the long ball for Moeaga. Oh, terrible goalkeeping. Their goalkeeper should have come out much sooner and more decisively. But he was too cautious. Moeaga had all the time in the world, should have put that away, just missed the left post. We are going to make our 2 remaining substitutions here, guys. Looks like Ali Nessi Salau, despite having such a wonderful game, we don't really have any good options to bring in, though. I'm really skeptical about making changes in defense. Pearson I could see bringing off, and although with his 2 assists I'm sort of willing to risk the red card given we're 3-0 up. I don't want to pull somebody off when he's in that good of form. Perhaps let's give Moeaga a run off for the fans. I have an idea. Let's take off Lipua as well, since he's only on a 6.9, also looking a bit tired. We're going to take off Lipua, and we're going to take off Moeaga, let him receive a standing ovation. Tailolo Moeaga can come on, then we won't have to have Valawaga running around trying to take free kicks all the time. That's no good. So let's one Moeaga for another. Maybe they're related, or maybe it's just the database has very few Tuvaluan names in it. I don't know, guys. So Filioma can play in the midfield. Let's bring him on for Lipua. I don't think he's very well suited to being a deep line playmaker, but we can move Pearson over, and then there we go. And then things will look a bit better there, guys. That'll help with Pearson going around trying to kick lumps out of people as well. We don't need him getting sent off. So all in all, I think we are making the right decisions with these substitutions, guys. Let me just give some team talks to these fellas. Tell them that I believe in them. Everybody's appreciating the feedback. This has been a really superb performance here, guys, and given our lethargy at the end of that Giants of Istanbul save, Valawaga's still taking free kicks. Very concerning. Filioma will have a long shot. Saved by Eti. As I was saying, though, given how poor we were at the end, well, really all throughout that Galatasaray save, nice to get a resounding victory over someone and start this Hell's Teeth save off right. I'm hopeful this is going to go long into the future, and it's going to be a huge challenge because of the level of development in Tuvalu, but I'm really excited about where this save can go. We are going to win that Club World Cup, guys, and the journey has started today. And it's full time. 3-0 to Hell's Teeth. Niutao run off the pitch. Really solid win. We should congratulate the team. I absolutely agree. Really thrilled with how things have gone here. guys, and hope you enjoyed the match as well. Good to see that tactic really working the way that we wanted it to. Again, I apologize for the really long episode, guys, but there was a lot to get into. A huge amount had happened. Samaya Moeaga winning man of the match with that hat trick, by the way. There was a lot to get into, a lot to talk about, so I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking with it, guys. Hopefully it was all worth it, seeing that really nice performance against Niutao. We are going to bring this episode to a close, and I'm not sure who we'll be taking on in the next episode. I haven't really had a look. Let's just have a look at the fixtures here. You know what? We might wait all the way until this another game against Niutao. Just so I'll just crank out these matches at the start of the season, and we'll see you at this for the start of the Independence Cup against Niutao again. I think that's maybe the best option. Just want to get this save going, have a bit of momentum in it, and then once we're in more prestigious competitions, then we'll start doing the nitty-gritty stuff. Well, I'll make up my mind about that, guys. I'll decide which game we want to do in the next episode. For now, I will leave you with a bit of mystery. That is it for today. Please like, please subscribe, and please come back for episode 3 of The Triumph.